Good afternoon, boys and girls. Today we are going to start a new chapter, that is stomach. And of course, anything you talk new in surgery, the first thing which comes to the mind is the anatomy. No surgery can be done without anatomy. So let's start with this anatomy. The arterial supply of stomach, to be more precise. Stomach as such has a lesser curvature, has a greater curvature, the cardiac and the pylorus, and of course fundus. Now the arterial supply is, the lesser curvature is supplied by the left gastric artery and the right gastric artery. These two arteries, the left gastric artery is a branch of celiac trunk, the right gastric is a branch of common hepatic artery. These two arteries supply along anastomose and supply the lesser curvature. Branches of the left, short branches of the left artery, left gastric artery supply the cardiac. Slightly going away from the stomach, we have an important artery, that's the gastroduodenal artery, which is very important in surgery because it supplies the duodenum and the head of the pancreas. It is in relation with the posterior aspect of the duodenum, and hence I tell you now even, and we will be talking in detail later on, that the posterior of the abdomen, when we get a duodenal ulcer, the gastroduodenal artery is the cause of bleeding of duodenal ulcer. This gastroduodenal artery has branches. This is a branch of hepatic artery, and this has a branch called superior and inferior pancreatoduodenal artery. Superior pancreatoduodenal artery, and inferior pancreatoduodenal artery. Inferior pancreatoduodenal artery is a branch of superior mesenteric artery. So this supplies the first part of duodenum and the head of the pancreas. The greater curvature as such of the duodenum is supplied by a branch of gastroduodenal artery, which is called the left gastroepiploic artery, which in turn anastomoses with the right gastroepiploic artery. The left gastroepiploic artery is the branch of the pancreatoduodenal artery and hence the hepatic artery, and the right gastroepiploic artery is a branch of the splenic artery. Hence you have covered the lesser and the greater curvature of the stomach. Now remains the fundus of the stomach, not too nicely drawn. I draw it again. The fundus of the stomach. The fundus of the stomach is supplied. The fundus of the stomach is supplied by vasa brevia. That is also called short gastric artery, which is a branch of splenic artery. I repeat again, once again, before things become clear, The lesser curvature is supplied by the left gastric artery, which is a branch of celiac trunk, and the right gastric artery, which is a branch of the right hepatic artery, the common hepatic artery. The pancreatoduodenal artery supplies the duodenum and the head of the pancreas. It has a branch, the superior pancreatoduodenal artery, which supplies the head of the pancreas and the duodenum, and the inferior pancreatoduodenal artery, which is a branch of superior mesenteric artery. These two anastomoses and supply the duodenum, first part of duodenum, and head of the pancreas. The greater curvature is supplied by the right gastroparetic artery and the left gastroparetic artery. The right gastroparetic artery is a branch of pancreatoduodenal artery, and the left gastroparetic artery is a branch of splenic artery. It remains the fundus of the stomach. The fundus of the stomach is supplied by short gastric artery, which is a branch of splenic artery, that is also called vasa bravia. This is the anatomy. I won't go in detail with the physiology of the stomach, because that is very simple and you all know in physiology, you have been taught in physiology classes. We have to come across, acquaint ourselves before going into details, diseases of the stomach, regarding the investigation. What investigations do we require while treating a patient of stomach diseases? The first and foremost, the investigation of choice, which I was discussing and I have already discussed when I was talking about esophagus, that is endoscopy. 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 Endoscopy is, of course, a machine, fiber optic, which transmits light from the organ which we are viewing to the television screen, and you see the pathology about it. It has got a 3 working channel. The first working channel is an air-water channel with which we pump air to dilate the bowel and pass the endoscope henseward, and water to clear the view of the endoscope. The second channel is a suction channel. If you have any secretions in the stomach or there, that can be set with the suction channel. The third channel is a working channel by virtue of which we take biopsy, or we go for an injection sclerotherapy, or we go for an endoscopic varicose ligation, whatever be the procedure. It can be diagnostic as well as therapeutic. The investigation of choice in upper GI, that's the esophagus and stomach, is endoscopy. Till duodenum, of course. We can view till the second part of duodenum. So till the second part of duodenum, the choice of investigation, the most precise investigation done is the endoscopy. Second investigation, of course, is the radiology. Radiology means contrast radiology. The contrast radiology is a barium study. Contrast radiology. It is the barium study by which it has its importance in stomach, because there are certain things which we can't appreciate while doing an endoscopy. First thing is the hiatus hernia. Hiatus hernia is missed while doing endoscopy, even in expert hands. Volvulus of the stomach. Volvulus of the stomach. And the rhinitis plastica. These are the conditions which cannot be appreciated properly in endoscopy, and hence a barium contrast study is more informative in such cases. Third, of course, is the ultrasound, which just tells you about the thickening of the wall of the stomach, which suggests malignancy. and it tells you more, acquaints you with the surrounding structures, the liver, the pancreas, and the other structures, and is helpful, quite helpful in carcinoma, seeing the mets, whether the metastasis has been involved surrounding structures or not. More informative than ultrasound and other things is the CT scan and the MRI, which gives you more precise information about these things, about the lesion in the stomach, the mets surrounding the stomach, and the lymph nodes surrounding the stomach. But the best choice of investigation, as I was discussing in carcinoma esophagus, is the EUS again, endoscopic ultrasound. Endoscopic ultrasound, EUS. EUS is the choice of investigation to stage the cancer of the stomach, where you very well visualize the lymph nodes, the surrounding structures, the liver, and how much it is involved, and the degree of metastasis can be appreciated. So this is the best method of doing the evaluation of spread of metastasis. We have pH monitoring, we have other things also in stomach, which is not very significant here. What we are doing in the diseases, with the diseases which we are practicing and we are doing well and not for use. So finally, we start with one small thing. These are the most investigations, and we start with one congenital disease of the stomach, that is hypertrophic pyloric stenosis of infancy. This is the first thing we should know about in stomach. This was initially called as congenital hypertrophic pyloric stenosis. What happens here in this disease is, of course, the name is suggestive. It happens in infant, newborn. What exactly is the pathology? It's a not very common disease, but it is seen in 1 in 1,000 patients. 1 in 1,000 births you get this condition. And remember, it is 4 times more common in males than in females. These are 2 things about it, epidemiology. Now, what is the pathology? The pylorus and its adjacent antrum, the musculation of the pylorus and the adjacent antrum is absolutely thickened, which results in squeezing of the mucosa of the pylorus into very thin space, where you can hardly pass a wire even through it. So that results in the hypertrophic pyloric stenosis of infancy. This is the basic pathology. The musculature of the pylorus is hypertrophic, resulting in constriction of the mucosa of the pylorus. Now, how does it present? Since the passage is blocked, of course, the first and foremost presentation will be vomiting. What are the characteristics of vomiting in this condition? Number 1, forceful projectile, no bile, only milk. Vomiting is forceful, projectile, it contains no bile and it has only milk. This is one condition where you have no bile in the vomitation. Here you can get an MCQ, you have to differentiate. In order to differentiate between this condition, congenital, the hypertrophic pyloric stenosis of infancy, and rodal atresia, the presence of bile in the vomitus suggests rodal atresia. If there is no bile in the vomitus, it is hypertrophic pyloric stenosis of the infancy. So low bile is very important. Secondly, as the patient vomits, the moment it vomits out, becomes hungry. The child cries for food, more food. So this cycle of vomiting and crying goes on. And finally, what does it result in? It results in weight loss, dehydration, metabolic disturbances, and finally, how to test this? You have a test feed. You can do a test feed. Feed the child with some milk and examine the upper abdomen. You find a wave of peristalsis in the upper abdomen. This is absolutely clear in this condition in the hypertrophic pyloric stenosis of the infancy. So these are the clinical features of hypertrophic pyloric stenosis of the infancy. Right. Now diagnosis of this, the best method and the only method is the ultrasound, USG. It can be easily diagnosed by ultrasound, and you can diagnose this case as a congenital hypertrophic pyloric stenosis or hypertrophic pyloric stenosis of infancy. Now treatment. Treatment has to be taken care in two parts. First, the moment the patient, you examine the patient, it has various metabolic disturbances, it has negative fluid and electrolyte balance, the child is grossly dehydrated. So you correct all these metabolic conditions, dehydration and electrolyte first, and then when the child is fit for surgery, we go for surgery. Surgery, and what is a surgery? Surgery is RAM state. RAM state operation. RAM states operation. This is the operation done in this condition. What is it? We mobilize the pylorus and the avascular part of pylorus. We give an incision very, very carefully and cut the hypertrophic muscles, and finally the mucosa is exposed. When the mucosa pops off, leave it as such. The passage has become clear and your operation is finished. But at some time it is very difficult to preserve the mucosa and you tear the mucosa. When the mucosa is torn, repair it with a patch of momentum, keep the patient without orally for a day or two, finally the result is the same. So it's a very simple operation, the RAM state operation. We give a transverse incision over the pylorus and a part of it, small part of adjacent antrum. Slowly cut over the muscle fibers of the hypertrophic pylorus. The mucosa is exposed. This is the operation. If the mucosa is cut, we repair it with a patch of momentum, and then we keep the patient without feed for a day or two, and finally the patient becomes okay. This is all. Thank you for today. Thank you very much. देखो ठीक है इसमें बता दें इसका एक दे दिया